All right, you are live.
Yep. Okay. Welcome everybody to this City of Racine meeting. First I want to do is introduce the alders. We have a couple of new alders, but we have Alder Maurice Horton, Alderman Jeff Peterson, Alderwoman Melissa Caprillion, Alderman Henry Perez, and myself, Jeff Cole. Assistant City Clerk is Amber. The City Attorney is Robin is with us, and Sergeant Webb. So first item of business for this meeting, welcome everybody. First item of business is approval of the minutes for the April 13th, 2021 meeting.
Move to approve.
Second. We got approval and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, first item of business, 032921. Communications submitting an application for a change of agent with a Class B retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for DeKoven Foundation for Churchwork Inc. doing business as the DeKoven Foundation located at 621st Street, Lynn Beasy Carroll Agent, 2nd District. So if we can get her on.
I'm here.
Lynn, can you hear us?
I can. Yes.
Okay, welcome to the meeting. First thing I'm going to do is, well, there's supposed to be something in here for swearing in, but I just don't have it on my page, so I'm going to go wing it. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. So can you explain to us what's going on? I see it's just a change of agent, but you want to fill us in?
Yes. For the last year, I have been the new executive director of the DeKoven Foundation, aka the DeKoven Center. Our license, I had to make a change of agent license. I filled out all the paperwork, and it's just simply the executive director has always been the agent, and we're just nothing else is changing. On the premise, we're not requesting anything else, just me.
Okay. And there's no changes. I mean, I hope you guys are starting to get busy over there.
Yeah, actually, the wedding business is coming up very nicely. We've kind of been doing business all along according to the Safer Racine and CDC guidelines. So when you allowed 10 people, we had a 10-person wedding, and when you allowed 25, we had 25 people weddings, and now we're back at 75% capacity or 200 people or whatever the guidelines are now. And we appreciate the continued updates. And I think that we'll do okay.
So is there any questions from the committee at all?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. You're good to go, young lady, and they'll send that to you in the mail, I believe.
All right. Well, clearly you can't see me or you wouldn't call me that much of a young lady, but I appreciate it anyway. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Next item of business, 032621. Communication submitting an application for a Class B fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for the 1518 LLC doing business as the 1518 located at 1520 Washington Avenue, Kayla Buckley Agent, 3rd District. So if we could get her on.
Hello.
She is on.
Give me a moment here. Just trying to find my space where I need to be.
Order code, page 7.
Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going through this book and I still ain't used to it.
Alder Coe, this is Robin. If you'd like, I can talk a little bit about the Good Neighbors meeting.
Yes, I would. That was going to be my first. Well, the first thing we got to do is I think we have to swear them in. So that's what I was looking for on here.
Alder Coe, you memorized it pretty well. I can read it for you though, if you'd like.
Okay, I do have it here. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, we are here on your application today, so you will have a chance to tell the committee about your business and why you're applying for this license. After that, the committee may ask some questions, and the police department may or may not have any information to add. Lastly, we will ask if anyone here in the audience today to speak in favor or against this license application. Go ahead and start and tell us what you're looking for.
Well, the business that I am looking to open will be the new and improved Trade Winds banquet hall / event center. I am hoping to get the community to rent out the hall for weddings, little kid events, quinceañeras, dinner parties, etc.
Okay, do you have any type of experience with this type of business?
I do not have experience per se with like banquet halls, but I do with providing customer service to others and working with others. And I have a team that is working with me, and various members of that team have the experience as well.
All right, well, the first thing I'm going to do is have our city attorney go over the Good Neighbors report, if Robin wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Alder Coe. Hi, Ms. Buckley. This is Robin from the Good Neighbors meeting.
Hello.
Hi. So we did talk about a couple things. First of all, on the Department of Financial Institutions for Wisconsin, I cannot find the 1518 LLC. So I know that at least from all the different variations of the 1519 LLC that I looked up, I cannot find that entity. And also the employer, the EIN number, the employer identification number is linked to Ms. Buckley yourself as opposed to the 1518. So there may be a couple things there that need to be addressed, and that, you know, when you take out this license, you are the agent, but you know, I think we need to make sure that what you're applying for it under the LLC, that is straightened out. So you may want to look into that a little bit. We talked with the health department. Ms. Fernholz, she has not yet received an application for a restaurant license. And there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle. The good news there is Ms. Fernholz from the health department has emailed links and documents to Ms. Buckley so that she has that information so that she can get that application rolling. And similarly, with city development, there's also an application for a design review, which also includes the proposed signage. That application is not yet submitted, but Mr. Hintz has emailed the information to Ms. Buckley, so she should have the pieces here she needs to get those applications rolling. And then ultimately, she's going to need to apply for that occupancy permit, and that has the various departments. They will do their inspections and then check off that everything is in compliance before she can get that occupancy permit. One of which is, in addition to the health department, the building department, is the fire department. They need to check this fire suppression system in the kitchen. And then the only other thing that we noted was Ms. Buckley, she says she has the customer service experience. It's in the healthcare industry. So there's not much here. It's not very deep when it comes to running this type of an establishment. And there is no experience in regards to having an alcohol license. The other thing I would just note is that RPD was not able to attend the meeting. They had an incredible day that day, and this was just not something that they were able to attend. And Ms. Buckley, not having experience in running this type of an establishment, would benefit possibly from talking with RPD when it comes to crowd control, incident management, and the security systems, you know, her plan for security. So there's a lot right now that's still up in the air. I know Ms. Buckley intends to open in June, but that might be a little bit ambitious considering all the applications that haven't even started yet. Thank you.
Well, all right, thank you. I have a lot of concerns that none of this stuff has been addressed yet. I mean, and me, until some of this stuff gets addressed, I would like to defer this item until this gets addressed, but I'm wondering if anybody on the committee has any questions of the applicant. Maurice?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I did talk to her earlier, as Ms. Buckley earlier, probably about a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago. And really, they were just she was just really trying to find out what is needed. You know, she was kind of, you know, first time doing this, trying to find out. She had been calling others to find out what is it that she needs to do as far as the signage. I know they were doing some remodeling. They even invited me to come over, but they were still in the process of getting it done. I did go over the Good Neighbors report, as Robin said, and it sounds as if there's some more documentation that need to be done. We did talk about security and the security systems they was talking about putting in place. She was also talking about, you know, just the security that's going to be in there. I talked about, like, having people there, a large crowd, people that was going to be, unruly and all that. They told me that this would not be that type of venue. They're not looking to have that type of venue. They're looking to have people to come in and kind of like do exactly what she said. But, with all that being said, it still sounds as if there's some things that they have to, turn into the city. And maybe they have to square some of that away before we can, kind of go forward.
Right, and I guess I would, what Robin said from the city attorney's office, I would like them to have some type of meeting with the police department, because this is by no means like a slam dunk with all the different things that are going on. I want them to have everything that they need in place. So does anyone else have any questions? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion. I would like to defer this item until some of these things get addressed.
I do have some statements
Okay.
and comments. Okay.
Go ahead,
It might be
Melissa.
okay. Thank you so much. So I first want to commend Miss Buckley for her ambition. And this is quite a big new endeavor, and just wanting to be an entrepreneur. Just fantastic. I bet you a little bit scary if you're coming from the healthcare industry. What a change this could be. So I do commend you on your ambition and your interest. And with a alcohol license, it's a huge responsibility. And it's something definitely not to take lightly. That's why there's all these boxes that do need to get checked off, and not only for the city of Racine, but for your safety as well, and to protect you. And again, very commendable. However, I just want to say, when you're going to take on an endeavor like this, and knowing that you don't have that experience, it's not one of those things that I hold too high, because there's a beginning point for everyone. But I will say, do what you can to bring ease and comfort to us here on Public Safety and Licensing, who would have to approve something like that. So it sounds like you worked with Alderman Horton, asking what are the things that you need to do. So please continue to do that. I am going to definitely be in support of deferring. I will support the endeavors of an entrepreneur. However, I will also keep in mind the safety of our community, and just make sure we're doing this responsibly and respectfully, and exactly how you would want to be looked at yourself. So those are just my comments. And if that motion does get out there, Chairman Coe, I would definitely be in favor of supporting or seconding that.
And I'm going to ask a question of Robin. If this gets deferred, would you be able to set this thing up for like a good neighbors meeting with the police department?
Yes, I can definitely make that happen.
Okay. So I guess any other questions by any of the committee members? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
Yeah, I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Oh,
And this is actually related to Robin. I can see the practical aspect of having experience, but is there a legal requirement that you have experience before you're allowed to have a business with a license?
No, I don't believe so. But what is required is there's a course that needs to be attended, I believe. Let me just pull up. I believe it's attached to her application.
A server's course?
Hold on, let me just look here real quick. I may be thinking of the, let's see.
Operator's license?
Yeah, maybe thinking of the operators, but let me just real quick.
Mhm.
It does, okay, so I'm looking at the requirements here for the alcohol license, and the applicant has successfully completed within 2 years prior to the date of the application, a responsible beverage server training course, which is the same as for an operator's license, but it's listed here as a requirement for the alcohol license as well.
And you said she's already completed it?
Ms. Buckley, do you know if you've completed that course?
I have, and I sent the certificate through email.
Okay.
All right. That's the only
Mr.
question I
President,
had
that's
because,
something that the clerk's office would have then. I don't see it attached to this particular packet, but I'm sure.
I
will let-
have it attached to mine.
Okay,
okay.
And it was just
So-
issued this year, so it's good for 2 years.
thank you,
Yeah,
Ms.
so we
Buckley.
always ask the question, do you have experience in this area? And I was just wondering if there was a legal requirement for experience, other than the practical aspect of you're taking on a huge challenge, like Alder Caprellian said, and we really want you to not lose your footing in this process. And, it benefits the city that you have experience as well, and you personally. So I'm all for going forward, but I need to see some of these other little minor details being taken care of, which hopefully you can take care of really soon. And as soon as you can get that all lined up, I'd be more than happy to support it, but not at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to defer.
Motion to defer.
Do I have a
Second,
second? Is there a second?
second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to
Councilmember Caprellian.
defer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so Ms. Buckley, try to get back with the city clerks and try to get all this stuff in order, and we'll get you back on when you have all this done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
All right.
Robin.
Oh, yes,
Me and Smith are both here next week. So depending on what you're scheduling, we can get her in whenever you feel like it or whenever you're available.
thank you, Sergeant Rob. And also whenever you are available, but I think maybe we should wait until she gets a little bit further, and we can talk about this off, on the side. I thought maybe when she gets a little closer to operating, but
Okay.
we'll
Either
talk
way.
about it.
All right.
Thank
All right.
you.
Next item of business, 33521, communications submitting an application for a Class B retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for JTS Catering LLC, doing business as Blue Bear Bakery Catering Deli, located at 622 3 Mile Road. Tessa Santoro, agent, 15th District. So if we can get her online.
Tessa, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
All right, first item
Hello?
of yeah, you there, Tessa?
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right. First item of business, we're gonna ask, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
We are here on your application today, so you will have a chance to tell the committee about your business and why you're applying for this license. After that, the committee may ask some questions, and the police department may or may not have any information to add. Lastly, we will ask if anyone here is in the audience to speak in favor or against this license application. Now, let us know what you're planning here.
Well, we've had a beer and wine license at this location since we opened in July of 2019. But we have expanded. With COVID, of course, we pivoted again and did several new things to try and keep the doors open, and they've been successful so far. And with that, we'd like to be able to offer some Bloody Marys on the weekends and to do some craft cocktails with the barbecue that we're running out of there for dinner. We also applied for the license to extend into the front half of the east parking lot, I believe I put down there, so that we've talked to some of the other smaller independent restaurants here in Racine, and we have another parking lot to the north of us that is our property as well. And we thought it would be fun to do like a food fest, maybe a couple times, once later this summer, once in fall, to help just promote and revitalize some of the other restaurants that have been really hit hard in our community since this all happened. And, you know, for us to be able to do it with them, obviously we would attract more people if we can offer liquor with that. We don't plan on being open late. We applied to stay open until midnight so we can do some of those outdoor events, but as a matter of course, 9 o'clock is pretty much the latest. We want to stay open. We open for breakfast every day. There's no need for us to stay open late. It's hard enough some days for us to staff, and my husband and I work enough hours. We don't plan on being open any later, but we want the option there for sure.
All right, Tess, a question for you.
Yeah.
You know you'd have to change your premise description to include the parking lot in order to do this. Am I correct, or did you already have that?
I did that in the application.
Okay, so you have that all. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, and Robin, you want to fill us in on the Good Neighbors report?
Alder Coe, I believe Ms. Santoro pretty much covered everything. And the only thing that I would stress is that she's been operating since June of 2019 successfully, and she already has the small Class B license for beer and wine. So really the only changes here are that she wants to offer Bloody Marys and, you know, the other cocktail drinks. She's experienced. I would note that the sales from beer and wine were made up less than 2% of her monthly sales. So this is certainly not an establishment where people are going to drink a lot. It's just not that type of a restaurant. So I would defer to everything Ms. Santoro said. It pretty much mirrors my report.
Okay, just wanted to, all right. Any questions from any of the committee members? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I have a second, but I also have some questions, but I do second it.
Do we have a second?
I have a second. This is Melissa Trillian,
Okay.
second.
You got any questions at all on this?
I do, but I don't want to take the floor if the maker of the motion had one first.
Jeff, you got any?
No questions. Thank you.
All right, Melissa, go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. So just as Robin had stated, so Tessa, I know the application did say that 2% of your sales were liquor sales. What are you hoping that this will increase in liquor sales? I'm sure just with the thoughts of this plans and adding that, there's probably an increase projected here.
I can't imagine it's going to be more than 10% of our total sales.
Okay. And knowing that you also run the establishment on Taylor Avenue, as indicated in your application too, I didn't see, and maybe I missed something on there, but has there ever been any issues with your establishment on Taylor?
None. Zero.
Okay, thank you for that information. Those are just the two comments that I had. Thank you, Chairman Coe.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, you're good to go, Tessa. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all. I appreciate your time. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you. All right, next item of business. Item 33221. Communication submitting an application for a Class A fermented malt beverage. Roz's U.S. Pantry LLC, doing business as U.S. Pantry, located at 1627 Washington Avenue, Bula Mian Agent, the 3rd District. I got a question to ask while you get them on there. This is just this is, there's a license already here, am I correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so it's just basically like a change of agent?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure of that. So is Mr. Mian on? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, we are here on your application today, so you will have a chance to tell the committee about your business and why you're applying for this license. After that, the committee may ask some questions, and the police department may or may not have any information to add. Lastly, we will ask if anyone here today to speak in favor or against this license application. So go ahead and let us know what's going on.
Thank you. It just expanding my business. I have 2 other locations in Racine. So, the license, the previous owner, he's already have a license. It's just a transfer. If you guys have any questions.
Was there a good neighbor meeting needed for this one item or no?
Alderco, is this a change of agent or is this a transfer of a license? I would.
Well, I believe it's a transfer of a license to somebody else.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yes.
Alderco
Yes.
and Robin. So the Good Neighbors meetings aren't meant for A's or big A's or little A's. They're mainly meant for liquor and beer and the wine.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure if it had to be done that we would get it done. So all right then. So, how many stores do you have, Mr. Mian?
I have 2 other.
In Racine here?
In Racine, 1 in Caledonia.
Okay.
And 1 in City of Racine.
Okay, so you know how to run this. So I guess I'll ask, is there any, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm in business for since 2014, and I have experience running this business since 2006.
Okay. And is your hours going to change over there, or are you keeping the same hours the previous owner had?
Yes, we are pretty much keeping everything is the same.
Okay, so we won't see really no changes. So any questions from any of the committee members?
I'm just curious of the other location that he owns in the city of Racine limits.
There's one on Northwestern Avenue, 2240 Northwestern Avenue. And there is one at 600 4 Mile Road, Racine.
Yeah, I know that one very well. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
Vote to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you're good to go. All right. Next item of business. Item 032521, communication submitting an application.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go.
We got a problem? Okay. Communication submitting an application for a Class B retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for Milwaukee Banquet LLC doing business as East Corner Pub and Dining located at 3701 Durand Avenue, Unit 200, Michael Dock, Agent, 11th District. Okay, is he on?
Do not have a Michael Dock, but I believe there's Jay Walia is on for this item. Let me try to get him on.
So who's the agent?
The agent is Michael Dock.
So wouldn't we want to speak to the agent?
Yes, let me try to get Jay on here. Oh, I think he on the bed.
Mr. Dock is here.
Oh, okay.
This-
It sounds
okay.
like he is with them.
All right, then.
Hello.
All right. All right. First item. All right. Yes, a kid. So we're gonna.
Michael's question.
All right. First thing we're gonna do is swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
We are here on your application today, so you will have a chance to tell the committee about your business and why you're applying for this license. After that, the committee may ask some questions, and the police department may or may not have information to add. Lastly, we'll ask if anyone here today to speak in favor or against this license application. So go ahead and let us know what you're trying to do here.
This is Attorney Jay Walia and Mr. Dak, both are here. And go ahead and can you guys hear us?
Yes.
And I believe we are both under oath. And Mr. Michael, he's the one who, the agent for the company, and I'm the attorney, and we are putting together the same place where Pone Vita pizza place used to be, and we're gonna have the full kitchen with the sports bar, and there's a space where there's going to be the banquet hall, and it's going to be open from 9 o'clock till 8 bar closing. And our sister company bought it's Elmwood Plaza, the whole place. And this is the sister company. We are looking forward to have that area approved. And we are open to ask any questions you guys have.
Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is ask the city attorney to read the Good Neighbors Report, and then I have a few questions and comments. So go ahead, please, Robin.
Thank you, Elder Coe. So Mr. Datch, he does have experience holding a liquor license. He has one for Spring South LLC through the city of Oak Creek. I would note though that when it comes to the actual establishment, it's somewhat like the 1518 where the health department does not yet have the application for a restaurant license. That was emailed though, links and attachments to make it easy on them. The fire department has not been able to do an inspection yet of the fire suppression system. City development does not yet have the design review application. Mr. Hintz did email that yesterday, I believe. So then the building department obviously cannot go through and do the inspection for the occupancy permit until all of those boxes have been checked. So at this point, I think those are still outstanding, but they do have the materials as of yesterday to get the ball rolling there.
All right. My problem is, so Bonavita is approximately 5,500 square feet. You're asking for 27,000 square feet. What do you plan on doing with all this space?
It's if you see there's attached plan, there's like total is like the first floor is like 19. It's 150 by 131. 131 is the deep, and 150 is wide. It's in Elmwood Plaza where it is like in northeast corner, and where I don't know exactly where the whole. I assume they had this big of space, but there's like 3 different sections used to be on the. If you look at the plan, there's a right on the east corner, roughly looks like 50 feet by 131 feet. That's where going to be in the southeast corner. They're going to be the full kitchen, the way, and then on the northeast corner, there's going to be the sports bar. And then in the middle, between roughly between 50 feet to 150 feet west of that, as you can see in the plan, which is attached, that is like for the storage of the liquor in the back. In the middle, there are going to be bottles like wine and other liquors, which people can look at it, taste it, and plus
buy the bottle, and then there's a banquet hall in the, if you look at I think roughly between 100 to 150 feet, there's a banquet hall. That's where we're going to have open for the weddings or any kind of banquet hall. And then that roughly comes out to be 19,000 some, and then some added in the basement. That's where you typically Bonavita and now where the kegs for the beer and stuff stored in the basement within the cooler, and which come up. And then we want to let you know a little bit about Milwaukee Banquet. Mike, we have as a family, we have a lot of experience. We have over 30-year experience in this business, and Milwaukee Banquet LLC itself has a Buffet City restaurant in Milwaukee area. And due to, obviously, we are working very responsibly due to the COVID situation. And so it's not like something Mike and our family, Sharon Walia and me and my brother and all our family, we used to own the parking lot. And so we have, and this place, we are planning to do the full service for the banquet. So if you have any questions.
Yeah, so I guess I just want to know, I mean, do you plan on selling liquor and stuff at this place? Because it sounds like you're trying to put a liquor store in here also.
Yeah, we are going to sell the bottles too, yes.
Bottles of what though?
Wine.
I mean, it sounds like you're asking for, so I'm going to give it to the committee some. So our festival hall is only 15,000 square feet, and Memorial Hall that we rent out is 17,000 square feet. And I think you're asking for an awful lot of space here, not knowing what's going to be totally going in there. And I'd feel a lot more comfortable if the same thing happened, that you went through all the departments and got all the stuff in order that needed to be in order before we would entertain opening this up for this item. So is there any questions from any of the committee members? Go ahead.
Yes, in regards to your discussion, what you asked them, they're looking to sell packaged goods as well?
It's
the bottle.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they're adding a liquor store component to this, and there's no licenses. They're putting it under the guise of a Class B license. Just a little nervous about that with all this square footage.
So the Class B, would that be a total separate building, or would that be part of the banquet facility?
They're asking for Class B for the whole 24,000 or 27,000 square feet.
It's to be exact, is 150 by 131. Then little space in the basement for where the cooler is, where the beer kegs and stuff stored in the cooler. It's
So is your liquor
50 by 131.
In the process of trying to sell packaged goods, is that going to be a separate building or a separate unit, or are they all going to be one?
All going to be one. There's a separation a little bit, but it's all, you can walk inside. You can go in the, if I don't know, do you have that little sketch? There's a
drawing.
Yeah, the plan is pretty small, so it's kind of hard to see it.
Yeah, it's already, my understanding is 100 is a west side of the proposed area used to be the banquet hall before. I don't know if it's true or not, but obviously right now at this time it's vacant.
Yeah, Bonavita was the total with the banquet hall. Their total capacity was about 5,500 square feet.
But
you're more than tripling that.
But actually, I was surprised because of when I looked at it, we measured the area, And seems like that banquet hall, what we are proposing, 150 by 131 deep. And there is I noticed looks like it was banquet hall. So I don't know what record they showed, but seems like from my experience, the side of the 150, the west side where we are proposing the banquet hall, I noticed there is, those temporary walls, which typically banquet hall has it. And so this is the exact size it seems like they were using. I don't know for sure, but I know definitely it was banquet hall there because of I see, there is some partition walls there, which is typically in the banquet hall.
It looks like there's a bar on the east end, a liquor display in the middle, and then a banquet on the west end.
Yes,
Is that
and then
correct?
the back is the storage for storage and the common area. And plus
So it looks like you basically have three different businesses in here. You have a bar, a liquor sales, and a banquet.
and the rest, restaurant, they're all together,
I would be more comfortable, one, getting the alderman of that district to get in there and give us his viewpoint. And two, I would be more willing to defer this at this time till he gets his other stuff taken care of. I'm not comfortable with having a bar, a liquor sales, and a banquet hall in one unit.
I totally agree with you on that item.
I'd be willing to defer this. If there's any other comments or questions, please go free, but I would make a motion to defer this until next month, until at least his other issues with the health department and fire department and everything else be taken care of.
Is there any other questions from any other committee members? Otherwise, I'd
Yes,
ask for a second.
Yes,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair. Just like Alder Peterson, I would like to see some of the good neighbors, the items being taken care of before we move forward. I do have a question, as this is going to be, and now I understand now, Alder Peter said 3 different establishments in one place. I was just looking at the time of the hours of operation every day from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning.
Well, the liquor sales aren't, you can't sell liquors past 2 o'clock or past midnight.
Those are the times from Monday to Sunday. They all say 9 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Well, they can't sell any alcohol after 2 a.m.
So that would probably have.
I mean, after midnight, excuse me.
Okay, well, that would have to be corrected on here because when it say what's the operation of hours, it says 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. So that's something they might have to relook at.
Well, I have a concern because right now we have a quota on liquor licenses for like liquor stores and stuff like that. And they're trying to get one in here under the guise of a Class B. And I'm not comfortable with that at all. Because we're going to be opening up a can of worms.
I agree. There should be 2 separate licenses to this facility.
Right.
I mean, I don't know the legalese, and maybe the city attorney can assist us with that, but it looks like, like you say, it's a Class B license as well as trying to open up a liquor store.
Yeah, and they're Class A, and we have a quota on them, and we're at our quota. And I think they're trying to get around that by having this all one thing. And I'm not real comfortable with this at all.
Do you have an opinion from the city attorney on that?
Yeah, that is correct. I don't believe we talked about the 3 different establishments during the Good Neighbors meeting. We focused on the bar on the far east corner. But you would be correct. If there are going to be 2 other establishments or 2 other businesses running here, then yes, those need to be separate applications.
I'm very surprised. I can understand the bottles separate, but most bar restaurant have banquet hall. Most of them enter. That's pretty consistent with most of the restaurant or bar has, where you can have small parties. So then I can understand, you're concerned about even though that's not of attention, but if that, I can understand the bottles. If you feel uncomfortable with, we have Aqua, we have other bars, we always have wine and other high-end liquor, so people can look at it and buy the bottle. But I can understand that one if you're thinking about like for the liquor store, even though that's not our intention, because obviously.
No,
our-
but that's what it, but that's ultimately what it is a liquor store because you're selling liquor.
But I can understand that side of it, but I agree with you, how you perceiving it. And, that part.
I mean, and also, and with that, you can't sell alcohol past midnight. If it's a bar, you can stay open till 2 a.m. But
Yes.
but you can't
But that-
sell carry out.
If your committee feels uncomfortable with that, and I have no issue with not doing that part of it, but I'm pretty sure with the restaurant or bar and banquet hall is pretty, kind of, it's one of the, most of the restaurant has separate where you want birthday party or wedding party. But I can understand what you're thinking about. I agree with you. And I think that's a reasonable, thing saying, but as far as the banquet hall and bar and restaurant, that's pretty, seems like.
No, but that part's okay. It's just that I guess what I would want you to do to get all this stuff in order, and then revamp your plan if you have to make it smaller or what. Like I said, our festival hall is only 15,000 square feet. It's a huge space, and I have concern if you can fit 600-700 people in this place. What kind of problems we could incur.
Yeah, that I agree. The only reason we wanted to make sure, we're going to spend a lot of money. We want to make sure, because without Class B license.
Right. Oh no, the Class B license for what you're asking for is for weddings and a bar is one thing, but it's just I've got a problem with the other.
The other one, I mean, if a committee or you feel uncomfortable, we can amend that plan. That's what your committee's desire, and
all right. Well, I guess then we have a motion to defer this item, and I would get with
I
the
do
city.
have comments. too,
Okay,
Before you
go
call
ahead,
the question.
Melissa.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairman. So I hope that you are hearing the perceptions, and if anything needs to be cleared up, the perceptions of this committee, you can clear it up now. I was trying to follow you to see if you were agreeing and understanding how we were perceiving it and clarifying, and if not, but it sounds like that this committee may have this correct, and that you're trying to open up these three different things. The only comments that I would like to add that are new is that, I really appreciate that you're looking to invest in the Racine, in the city of Racine. And for that, we thank you, but understand anything that comes along with the liquor license, there's a huge responsibility. And as you can hear from Chairman Coe, there are some concerns just because here we are, we're the ones with have to make this yes or no vote. And if something were to go wrong, we really take that to heart as if it's, something we're responsible for, and we want you to be successful. So do understand that even though, you're taking on a big endeavor to invest in our community. So we thank you. Let's just make sure we can go ahead and get, talk to the health department, get that resolved, and any of those other issues. And let's have you come back before us and clear up some of those things that maybe we're not quite getting right, or where you're seeing that we're not comfortable with. So, and that was my comments. Thank you, Chairman Coe.
Anybody else? All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Beforehand, so you guys bought the whole plaza?
Yeah, we're one of the sister company, yes.
All right, so question for you, is Doobie's Beer Joint staying there?
Yes.
Okay, because there's another place that can fit a couple hundred people. So I do have some concerns, but that was all. So I guess I would get back to city and get some of these items cleared up, and we'll bring this item back. All right, so we have a motion and a second to defer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
All right, no opposed. All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All
What's
right.
the next step?
Call the city clerk's office and they'll get you where you need to be.
Okay, thank you.
All right then. All right, thank you. All right. All right, next item of business. 390-21, communication submitting an application for a sidewalk cafe with alcohol for Almost Las Tacos LLC, doing business as Almost Las Tacos, located at 231 Main Street. Rick Onion, agent, First District. Oh, and we're gonna take up item 391-21 because they're both the same. So we got Rick on the line?
Hello.
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Good.
So I know we did this last year, but do you want to explain to the committee what you're asking for again?
Sure. There's a piece of city property, I think technically it belongs to the portion of the city that manages the parking lots, that's just adjacent to our building. And so obviously outside seating was a good thing for the city during COVID. We feel like it's a good thing even without COVID, of course. So we would like to continue to use that space. We've spent almost $6,000 on tables. We are open to managing the property itself, cutting the grass, we keep it clean, we do all those kinds of things, but we think folks enjoy eating outside when the weather permits. And that's what we would like to have a permit to do. And that, of course, includes serving alcohol in that space.
Right.
The only other things I guess I'll add, top of mind, are that we use plastic glassware, so we don't use real glasses when we do serve drinks out there. Not everyone is drinking. A lot of people are just eating out in that space, but we will use plastic glassware should somebody want drinks with their food.
And just to let people know, they did this last year, and they were looking for long term on this, and they were going to be taking care of everything. But then after this year, there's some work that has to be done. There's a retaining wall in there that needs to be repaired. So that's why they're only going for this temporary one for this year, and they'll come back again next year. So we got any questions from anybody? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion for these two items.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What kind of insurance do you have that will cover the city if something happens on that property?
So I don't have the details in front of me, but through the city attorney's office, we got all of the liability coverage that was asked of us to provide. And the city is an interested party in that policy.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I'd entertain a motion then.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you're good to go, Rick. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated.
All right. Item 0-20221, communication, submitting an application for a secondhand article dealer's license, R&J's, doing business as R&J's, located at 1817 State Street, Yellen Feliciano, agent. So is this something that we have to talk to him about, or is this something we just do? City
so
clerk?
I believe this is something that you'll, yep, I believe this is something you will have to talk to them about, and I believe PD had something to talk about as well.
Okay, well, let's get them online.
They are on for you.
All right. And so who do we have here? Is this Yellen Feliciano?
Yeah, hi, I'm right here.
All right. I'm trying to think of, I don't know if there's something in my book about this stuff. Sorry. Can you explain to us what you're looking to do? And then I'm going to ask the police department for what they have. So please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for your time. I'm actually had the store already in the Kenosha County, but because of COVID, when everything started to happen, my kids stopped going to school, so I couldn't make the trip back and forth, and I was closed most of the year, so I had to shut it down. And
right now I'm just looking to be able to open closer to my home so I can be multitasking with the kids and be able to work. And it's more like a hobby store. The secondhand is because I'm gonna be having like collectible toys from the 80s, 70s, 90s. Same with video games, older or newer. And I want to be able to buy in the location. I did have a connection with the police department in Kenosha, so I'm aware of the procedure with the paperwork and everything that I have to follow.
Okay, so can we hear from the police department on this item?
All right, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, Alders, indulge me for a moment because this takes a little bit of time to get to the bottom of. So ultimately, when the license came up for 1817 State Street to be a secondhand retail store, the deputy chief of investigations at the time came to me and he brought up the fact that the previous location of 1819 State Street used to be a secondhand store years ago.
Okay.
And ultimately in 2011, a search warrant was done at 1819 State Street, which was a secondhand store in the city of Racine. We assisted Mount Pleasant as they were looking into burglaries that occurred in their jurisdiction.
Okay.
As a result of that search warrant for Mount Pleasant, a gentleman by the name of, I'm going to butcher his name, his first name is Rod, R-I-A-D, last name is Yasin, Y-A-S-I-N, and a Ted party was arrested. One was arrested for endangering safety, use of a weapon, possession of THC, and keeper of a place of controlled substance. Now, the reason that the RAD gentleman is so important is the person that's applying for the secondhand license now in May of 2012 reported him as a trespassing party. And then in December of 2013, she referred to that gentleman as her husband. And we have police calls for service all the way up to 2021, from 2012 to 2021, with her and the gentleman that was running the last shop cohabitating with her referring to him as her husband. The concern from the police department is ultimately after the 2011 search warrant, the city revoked their license because when we went in there, we ended up recovering a bunch of items as they did not have the paperwork required for when you take an item in for resale, such as identification, making sure we're entering those items into the program so it can be searched for stolen items. And like I said, this came down from the chief's office reference the prior police contact we had with the search warrant and the amount of items we took out of that store. And now the concern is just another family member is going to be running the store, and we're probably going to have the same problems again. Up until February 2021 is the last contact we had with the applicant and the gentleman that was arrested in 2011, in which they still cohabitate together, and she referred to him as her husband.
All right. So we have some huge concerns here. Do you want to elaborate on this item, young lady?
Yes. Yes. I knew that this was a possibility that this was gonna come up. He's not gonna be involved in the business at all right now. I'm actually trying to do this by myself. It's not gonna be the same as what he had. I'm more focusing on hobby stuff, collectible items, kind of like the kind of thing you buy just because it's just something you don't find anywhere else. That's how I did this shop in Kenosha. I also make my own art and I have it in display, and I'm really interested in being able to put some of my art there as well. The incident in 2011, I did trusted him to be handling the paperwork when I was busy, and I did have paperwork for a lot of the stuff. I was there most of the day, but there was an incident. That was in 2011. Since then, I haven't really had any issues other than, some domestic issues with him, but he's the father of my kids, so even if we're not together, I'm always gonna have to deal with him in some way. So I'm hoping that this doesn't affect my ability to do my own thing just because he's a part of my life.
We've had a lot of problems in that area with this stuff. Do you have your store in Kenosha anymore?
No, I closed it because I couldn't afford to keep the rent and everything, as I wasn't even going to open the business.
Okay.
I do already have everything here set up. I'm paying alarm, electricity, I'm paying rent. I have the shop open and ready. I passed everything to do with the occupational permits. So I'm just here to see what I can do to be able to open, because that's the only thing I have right now.
Okay, well, I understand that with all the concerns the police have on this item, but any members of the committee have any questions?
Yes. Question as to, and I don't want to get too personal, but you say you have to deal with him because he's the father of your children. Is that strictly the relationship in that he's the father of your children, or you guys?
Yes, we're currently separated. We're separated.
Thank you.
And how long have you been separated?
Not long. I would say a couple months. He does have a drinking problem. I did give him a lot of chances. Right now, I'm just trying to be able to move on and not need anything from him.
Okay, well, you were with him through all of these issues. So like I said, I have some huge concerns. Any other members of the committee have any questions?
I have some comments. Alderman.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Am I pronouncing your name correctly when I say Yaelin?
Yaelin.
Oh, Yaelin. Thank you for the correction, and I apologize. So, Yaelin, a few things. I'm not going to so much focus on, when you were separated, things like that. Those are quite personal. I do hear the concerns of the public safety officer and oh, sorry, somebody might not be muted. Thank you. So even though you said your focus is going to be on hobby stuff and that you do art, the thing is, if we approve this here today, it opens it up to go in to be just like what the concern was back in 2011 that we had with your husband. And so that's why we have to take some of these things in consideration for sure. I will tell you, I don't take lightly what was shared with us this evening, just because it's a concern for our community, the State Street area. We're trying to rebuild that. And the city resources used, public safety concerns. It's hard to believe we're having this kind of topic when we talk about bringing hobby stuff and art to the community. Normally that's just a wonderful thing. So even though I didn't say I don't want to bring up your personal stuff, you have to understand that attached to you and is some very concerning for public safety. We're concerned for you just as well. And we want you to succeed. We want the things that we approve here to be successful, and we want it to improve our area. And we want you to be a responsible owner of a business. And, with that, we have to take a lot of things into consideration. And right now, I think I'm really leaning on what this public safety officer, for him to go into this amount of details with us, really is a huge statement. It's making quite a huge statement. And the State Street area, although is not my aldermanic district, it is my county supervisory district. And so I have I feel of some ownership in that area, and I owe the constituents a little more due diligence on an item like this. I want your success, and I want you to do good for this community. We have to clean up some of those things and maybe address it in maybe a different way so it can sit a little better with this committee before we can make an approval. Those are my statements. Thank you.
So I don't understand then, what are you guys asking of me to get approved?
Well, I just don't know if you're gonna get that right now with all the issues that have been raised. So I don't know what the answer is.
Maybe I can speak from a personal, I am just one vote on this committee. So there really has to be for myself to sit comfortable, really is this disassociation and understanding your plan really is your plan. You are the only one involved in this plan. And what you're going to bring forward does not have any connections with these concerns. To me, voting on something like this can really bring forth the same type of business that was in place on State Street, an area that really needs healing and it needs positive development. So I can only speak for one vote, speak for myself and where I sit on this item. So thank you.
And Jeff, since this is your district, I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are, if you want to make a motion on this item.
As Alderman Webb has stated, there's been issues in the past, and I guess, it's hard not to disassociate the relationship aspect of this. This lady seems like a very nice lady, and I want to give her a chance. But like I said, it's hard to disassociate what's happened in the past and to think that that may not happen in the future. I mean, selling odds and ends is not a bad thing, and running your own business is a fantastic thing. As Alderman Caprillion has stated, this is with the development on all the money being spent on Northwestern. We're trying to bring in good, positive business, which just could be, but I guess my concern would be that it returns back to the old business and the applicant is not the only one involved in the business. If there is an assurance that the applicant was the only one involved, I would be more comfortable. But at this point, I would, as much as I feel for this lady trying to start her own business, I would have to say no.
That's a motion.
Yes, that would be a motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to deny. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
All right then, but thank you very much, ma'am. Hope you can get this straightened out.
I
Thank
don't
you.
know what you guys need from me to be not with him longer. Is it because we were together a couple months ago? I don't understand.
It's a bunch of few things. We've had problems in that location before, and all the problems we had, with you and your ex on here, and we just can't take that chance right now.
Okay, I just been paying rent on this place since November.
I don't know what to tell you, ma'am.
So there's nothing else I can do?
Not at this time.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, next item of business, 37821, communications submitting an application for a massage establishment license, Relax Spa Massage, located at 403 6th Street. I'm gonna butcher this name, Zagongo Chen, owner, First District. There's been a establishment here before, right? Am I correct? For this same thing?
I'm not 100% sure. I apologize. I do know it is a new license coming through.
Okay.
I have not looked into it if it was somebody else taking over.
Okay.
All I know is that it's a new license coming through, and they are actually not on the Zoom call right now.
So do they have to be on the Zoom call? I thought, unless there was problems with police or anything, I thought these were done administratively also.
No, I think all new ones have to come to PSO. And they should have received a letter to appear.
Well, if we
Robin,
don't,
correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm unsure if the person has to appear, but towards what Alder Coe was saying is, so long as the person meets the qualifications stated under the ordinance, then the committee and council shall grant the permit. So it does sound more check the box as opposed to eliciting their comments and weighing back and forth what they said or how they're going to run the business. So long as they check all the boxes.
and there, nothing came back at any kind of police report, right? Did we do a background check on
Can you hear
this?
me? Can we hear me?
Yes.
I'm sorry, can we hear me? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I didn't receive any information reference running the background check on this gentleman. Reference that location, there's not calls for service generated for that location.
All right. I mean, we've never had any issues. I know, I'm not sure if it was this place, but I know we had one on 6th Street. So it's up to the committee if they want to call them in, but mostly we've just been, without any kind of issues, we've been granting these.
Alder Coe, I can read those requirements here. They have to be 18 years of age. We already heard from Sergeant Webb that there is no, nothing came up on the background check. So they can't be convicted of a certain offense. So that would not apply. They can't make a false statement on their application. They would have to be here if anyone had a question about whether it was false. If it is relaxed spa massage would have to be in good standing in Wisconsin. And they have to comply with the applicable building, zoning, fire, and health codes. And I would defer to the city clerk if, when the application comes in, if there's that box in Munis that those different departments do check off that they have conducted their inspections. I don't know if that's part of.
Yes, it does go through Munis. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so at this point, then you would know whether those boxes have been checked.
Yes.
Reference to background check, I never received the information to do one on him.
Well, that's one of the boxes that would have to be checked here before it can be granted or recommended for that. So I would, it's possible to defer it so that that can happen. And then you have all the pieces to the puzzle here.
Move to defer.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, thank you. All right, moving on. 0116-21, communication requesting the appearance of Melissa Gister for an operator's license working in the 8th District.
Let's move on.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay. We've been going at this one for a while. We deferred for a while. Did we get any information sent into the city clerk's office referencing a letter at all?
Yes,
Email.
Melissa did submit paperwork to us via email. I believe I had sent that in with the packet application via email to you this morning.
Okay, I didn't check that one this morning. And what is that? And what does that letter state?
Apologize, I had
Oh,
it.
that's okay. I apologize. I didn't.
This is Robin. I believe that it's showing that her probation was completed successfully. Ms. Gister, correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yes, you are correct. And if you notice on the second page, if you guys were able to locate it, my proposed discharge date for that probation should have been March 6th of 2018, but due to me following the rules that were set out for me and finishing everything my agent asked of me, as well as the court system, I was discharged. I want to say that's like 9 or 10 months early. I had to request that back to the judge in order to be released early, with it being a case that at that point in time was heroin. It was a very bad situation, and I'm fully aware of that. But again, that's not me no longer. That was 2010. That's over 10 years of who I am today. Definitely is not that person. So you requested information stating, that I had completed this, and I've done so. I did have my pastor from my church available for one of our earlier meetings, but this notice I got too late. It went out on Friday, I want to say it's dated, and then I was out of town for Mother's Day. So when I got it Monday, he wasn't available tonight. They have Bible study on Wednesday night. So he wasn't able to be here with me for this. But again, Mr. Horton has spoke of me. He knows me. Well, he's been around me and my child, probably our youngest baby's entire life, since I want to say pre-K at Wadowitz. So he can attest to the changes that he saw in me, I believe, if he wouldn't mind.
No, and I think, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. I just want to say, I think that where we were at, because we've had this item on for a while, it was just pretty much what the clerk read off and what Robin read off was an update from probation and parole of her successfully completing, and just kind of like the rehabilitation thing that we were looking for. So we requested that she go back and get that. I do know Ms. Gister, know her son, know her pretty well. And I'm hoping, well, I'm not going to say I'm hoping, I've seen the change of coming out and doing the right things in a positive manner. I would have a problem of entertaining a motion unless other committee members would like to speak to approve it.
For our new members, this was an item, I don't know if you guys got it in your packet. She had quite a substantial criminal record up to 2011, and it's been clean since then. And they're usually, we can deny for that item, but we asked for stuff to come back to us. And I do have that in my package about the sentencing and completed early and stuff like that. So I guess I would, if anyone else has any questions, otherwise I'd entertain a motion. And if this is granted, Ms. Gister, I'd just say, don't take this lightly. We want you to do good on this.
Sir, I would greatly appreciate that, because sitting through a lot of these meetings and listening to what other people have to do in order to get their process moving and have a restaurant, that's my goal. So even though I had to go through this and it was scary, I'm kind of grateful for the situation. I'm learning stuff that I just normally wouldn't have known. So I appreciate this.
And do you have a place you're going to be working at this
As
time?
of right now, that was a question I had, because as of right now, the Ray's Boom Boom Room had surrendered their license. I do know, well, I'm under the impression that everything is taking place for them to do whatever need be for that. But if my license could be issued with no place of,
well, the license is not issued with a place. I was just wondering if you had a place. The license is issued to you to bartend.
Okay. I don't physically have a place right this second. I have 2 job prospects, and I also have my own location offer pending with the realtor currently. I would prefer not to state that just because it's still pending and this is a public forum. But again, I'm trying to open my own little social club for adults. So this, I feel like, is giving me the right experience that I need to move forward and learn this process.
All right, so I would entertain a motion.
I have a question first.
Okay, go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did I understand correctly that for the last 10 years you've been clean? Is that what the expression was?
That clean. When I say this case scared me to death, scared me straight, like there's no other way I can explain that. I'm my child's only parent that's on the streets. His father's been in prison his entire life. So when this came about, all I could think was my son losing everything because of my bad decisions. But by the grace of God, he never quit. He had a strong support team with Mr. Horton's daughter, Brianna, being one of them. They created a Black Excellence group and they just banded together, and I did what I needed to do. And my son just graduated Saturday at noon from UW-Madison. So had this situation went any different, I didn't fight for my life. I didn't complete probation. I could have left my son here by himself, and I didn't. I wear my seatbelt. I try to be as nice as possible when talking to a police officer, because disorderly conduct was like one of my major crimes. But being a felon at my age, my biggest goal outside of doing the steps in order to become an entrepreneur is getting to my 5-year mark to be able to petition for a pardon. Like, I got a lot of stuff going on that I don't want that on my name. Right. I made a bad decision and I'm fighting through it now.
Is your son's name Tavares? Who's Tavares?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. So we have apparently we have 14 mutual friends, and I'm excited about that.
Okay.
I see on your page too that you're that you claim Jesus, and I'm happy about that, and I'm very excited that Mr. Horton has had an opportunity to work with you as well. I want to congratulate you first of all on amazing achievement. Remember to hang on tight.
Thank you.
And go for it. And I'm all in support of giving people second and third chances when they have shown that they can work with that. And I'm excited to support your license going forward here.
Thank you very much.
So I'd entertain a motion.
Move
to motion to approve.
Chairman Coe,
Yes.
I did have some remarks, but I'm happy to wait after the approval.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let you make your remarks.
Thank you. Ms. Gister, you have given us a lot of rawness and have graced us with your story. I understand that Alder Horton is somebody that you know, but I know the rest of us you don't. And I know that this may feel like you are under a magnifying glass and you're having to walk backwards and explain your journey to us. And I apologize for this process having to do that. Just know, as you are taking your life very seriously and want to move forward, we want that for you. We want that for our city as well. So we do have to take these things into consideration, but please, even though we have looked at them, we are not holding them as judgment on you. And we do wish you well. I applaud you and honor this change that you have made for yourself, and even the hardness that has come, into your life. And I definitely, as a woman too, understand, as a mom, a single mom, just how difficult that journey can be. Yes. And that what a blessing our children can be to guide us in the direction that we need to help us be safe and to help us grow as productive people in our society. So I commend you. And again, I apologize. This process may look at you maybe in a judgment way, but that's not what it's meant to be. And I wish you luck. And this is something I don't understand the past, as I am back new onto this committee, but I am definitely in support of approving this so you can move forward and to grow.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it greatly.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you're good to go, and I believe the city clerks, you can contact them, but I believe will mail the license to you unless you make other arrangements.
All right,
All
sounds
right,
good.
take care. All right.
Yep,
All
you
right.
too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, next item of business, 036321. Communication requesting the appearance of Veronica McMorris for an operator's license working in the first district.
Veronica, can you hear us?
Yes,
All right, first item, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You are here because you either provided a false statement on your license application or have been convicted of at least one offense which disqualifies you for a license. As a result, you are generally disqualified from obtaining an operator's license unless you can demonstrate to us that you have been rehabilitated and there was good cause for the false statement. We will start with the police department's background check, and then you'll have an opportunity to address this committee. Go ahead, Sergeant Webb, please.
As it turns out, this applicant is disqualified because of under guideline number 5. The 96, 97, 99, and 2000 convictions weren't listed on her initial application.
So say that again, 1996, 1997, and
99, and it should be 2006, but it says 2010. Those convictions weren't listed on the initial application.
Okay, so in the last conviction for anything was 2006?
Yes.
Okay, Veronica, could you explain to us why you didn't list those?
The 96 cases, I didn't list those because my recollection was that they was over 10 years old and that I didn't have to put those on the action. But my 2006 conviction, I did put those on the application. I was convicted of disorderly conduct and obstructing. They was amended charges.
Right, I see that you had 2 charges. 1999 habitual school truancy. I don't think we're looking at that.
Alderman Cole, Chairman.
Yeah.
If you look at 1996, I think she missed one of the disorderly conducts. So I'm trying to find her original application. I know she listed. It was just she had 2, and she listed 1. But then you still had again, some of this other stuff, the 99, the 97, and 96.
Yeah, well, I got 96 for battery, 96 for retail theft, and 96 for resisting and obstructing. Is that what you have?
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
I'm sorry. So for 2006, she said she listed the DC and resisting, but there was another DC. And
Yeah,
that one was go ahead.
Yeah, on the paperwork I have resisting and 2 disorderly conducts from 2006 listed in here. I don't know if that was from the police department or what.
Point of clarification, just information maybe. I did see on the application, there was also a 2015 obstruction, but I'm not seeing that on the report. Maybe can we speak on that?
Sergeant Webb?
Yeah, I couldn't find that one.
If maybe the applicant could speak on that then, because it is listed on the application, please.
Veronica, go ahead.
I don't recall no 2015 obstructing charge. My last conviction is 2006. I was sentenced to probation and a fine. I don't recall no 2015 obstructing charge.
Well, you wrote it on your application.
This was something written out by you?
Yeah, you filled out your operator's license application, and have you ever been convicted of any offenses? And you put yes, and you listed 2006 disorderly conduct and obstruction. and then you have listed 2015 obstruction on here. It's your writing, I believe.
I probably put a wrong year on there, but I apologize. But I don't recall no obstructing. I recall the one from 2012 and the ones from 2006 that I have.
So you don't believe you have anything since 2006?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, clarification again. She said 2012. I also do not see that on the record either, if the sergeant sees them as well, or doesn't.
No, I didn't. Of course, we all know I have no horse in these races, but this is a while ago, and we often get that to where the people will put down the year they occurred the incident and not the disposition. And when I go look for disposition, I don't know what they were told in court, but a lot of times they won't even have the convictions they think they have. So that's why when I pull it up, I go by what I see and what I find. And like I said, for 2006, she had 2 listed, but she missed the second disorderly conduct. And that's the only thing that came up since 2006.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I'll just like to say this, and I know that, and she's probably getting some of the dates there confused. And I'm looking at some of the things here in this obstruction, disorderly conduct. And I know by sitting on this committee, we've seen much worse than this. And we've actually approved much worse than this.
Yes.
I'm kind of looking at it, and that doesn't mean tonight we have to, but I was just looking at that she's looking to, Ms. McMorris, are you looking to serve at the new restaurant, the Taste of Soul, I see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I know that's a new establishment. It's been open probably a month or so. And they are, from what I've heard, things have been going well so far. I wouldn't have a problem, and I'll let the other committee speak on, their determination. I wouldn't have a problem making a motion to approve your license for this, this license here.
All right, so that's a motion. Does anyone have any questions or concerns before I ask for a second?
This is Alder Caprillion, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Veronica, are you okay if I call you Veronica?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The point of clarity is that these are paperwork. Usually our committee, this is what we have. This is what we have that's before us. We want it as accurate as possible. So when we make these decisions, because we're held accountable, just as you would have to be held accountable if something were to come up and you were serving. And so just looking for that clarity. However, on the flip side of it, as much as I want clarity as what was stated by Alder Horton and also the sergeant as well, these were done some time ago. And hopefully getting you in a position to better yourself or bring you down a new path. I definitely want to be in support of that as well. I just want this to be as clear as possible, So if you ever have any problems with this paperwork or need help filling it out, please reach out to us so we can help you with those as well. But I will just say I will be in support of this. I congratulate you moving forward, and please don't hold this as a judgment on those things you did in the past. It is just for our clarity. So we do not hold them against you, and we wish you well.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, Ms. McMorris, the city clerk will send that in the mail. Go ahead.
Okay. Now that you guys have voted, I have to say, I know Ms. McMorris from working in the city, and I've known her a long time. And again, I've known her since I've been here since 2002 or 2004. And what happened on the application, I can't speak for her, but like I said, I've seen this happen time and time again. So you guys have made your vote, and that's why I wanted to share my opinion after the fact. I think she's a good person. I just met with her a while ago, and I had a conversation with her, reference different things that's going on in her life. And I personally would like to just kind of thank you guys for looking past the mistake. And that's all I want to say.
All right, thank you for that, Sergeant Webb. It's much appreciated to hear that.
Thank you, Sergeant Webb.
So you can, the city clerks will send it to you in the mail, or you can call them and make arrangements to pick this up.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
Point of order.
All
Point
right,
of order.
thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
Point of order. Yeah. Is it inappropriate for Sergeant Webb to give us his opinion as he reads a report? If he knows somebody, to me, that holds weight.
Well,
And I appreciate that he speaks
But he spoke-
positively after the fact, but
Right,
is it
that's-
appropriate for him to speak positively before?
I don't, I guess I wouldn't have a problem with him speaking before, but I think he felt he did the right thing by going this way. So, I mean, I don't.
Right, I just in the
I mean-
future,
Well, I
if
mean,
he's
remember,
got something positive to say about an individual,
Yeah, that-
I
I would like
appreciate
to-
Sergeant
yeah,
Webb's
yeah.
opinion. And if it's
Remember-
appropriate, I would like to hear it in the future
rem-
prior to.
remember the police chief came in support of somebody too. Remember that a couple weeks, a month ago?
Right.
So I guess so. So Sergeant Webb.
My
ahead.
point of view on this is when it comes to this background stuff, a lot of times they'll put 2007 and I'll find a 2006 conviction and then they'll correlate. So what I try to do is stay as impartial as possible with this, just because I'm in a position to where I get to make, some of these times I have to make a decision in terms of how these line up, not whether or not they exist, but just how they line up. So that's why I waited to after the fact. And if you know me, you know I've been on this committee almost 3 years, and that's the first person I've ever spoke on behalf of.
Well, I appreciate that. Trust me.
I appreciate that, Sergeant Webb. I'm just wondering if it's appropriate to have you speak ahead of time. I know you want to keep your impartiality, but your opinion means a lot to me, so.
I don't
that's
think
it.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I don't think there's any. Ask the city attorney, is there anything that he should be doing this before he make a vote?
I don't know the answer to that. I can look into it. I'm not sure. I can get back to you though.
All right, I'd like to hear that, but I just want to thank Sergeant Webb again. All
Thank you,
right,
Sergeant. Yep.
all right. Moving on, item 036421, communication requesting the appearance of Elijah Segura for an operator's license.
Elijah, can you hear us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. So do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you are here because you either provided a false statement on your license application or have been convicted of at least one offense which disqualifies you for a license. As a result, you are generally disqualified from obtaining an operator's license unless you can demonstrate to us that you have been rehabilitated and that there was good cause for the false statement. We'll start with the police department's background check, then you'll have an opportunity to address this committee. Go ahead, Sergeant Webb, please.
All right. The applicant is disqualified for not disclosing a 2014 possession of THC misdemeanor and a 2016 underage drinking citation. Also, for not disclosing what was shown at the time as a pending resisting obstructing charge from 2020.
All right. Can you explain to us why you answered no on these items, Elijah?
I didn't really understand the question properly, so I would like to apologize on that. That is completely on my part. I didn't know it entirely meant I had to go through my entire history, and I'm right now trying to figure out everything to get my my 2020 everything in order, and apparently I've missed some stuff, so I'm been really much trying to get my hands and my head together on all that so I can get everything taken care of. My employer has opted to help me find another solution, cooking, cleaning, or whatever, to help go forward on this, and I'm just really trying to get through it so I can continue and put all of this behind me and move on with everything for the plans that I do have for the coming year and the next year entitled.
All right. Well, I mean, the question was both questions. Have you ever been convicted of any offense? You do not need to include minor traffic offenses, and you put no. And do you have any charges pending against you? You do not need to include minor traffic offenses, and you've stated no. I mean, I don't know how you didn't understand that question, but who are you going to be working for?
I currently work for Doug Nicholson.
All right. And does Doug Nicholson know about this?
Yes, I just sat down and talked with him before all of this.
So is Doug with you now?
I can get him. He's right over here.
All right. He did call, and I didn't know who. Pardon?
He is on the other line. If you'd like me to patch him, like
Yes,
unmute him for
I
you.
would like that. Yes, I would like that. Thank you.
1 second.
Hello.
All right, Doug, can you hear us?
Okay.
Yes.
Doug, have you heard of what? Have you heard why he's been called in?
Yes.
All right. I mean, because it says, have you been convicted of any offenses? And he put no. And do you have any charges pending against you? We put no. And he said he didn't. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Found out about this. Hired him. I found out about this when he applied for his license and got the letter from the city. He's been very honest with me about the charges that he had in the past and present. I put him to work as a cook, trained him to be a bartender. He's come in extra days to do extra cleaning. Seems like a really nice kid to me that, I mean, made a couple minor mistakes. And when the charges that are pending, he said it's actually kind of good that this came about because he didn't realize they were still pending. So he's working with his grandmother on getting those taken care of. But I trust him. I like him. I think he's a good kid. Why he didn't understand the question, I'm not sure. That's about all I got to say. We sit at the behest of the committee.
Any questions from any of the committee members?
I have a question, please. This is Alder Caprillion. Doug, if you're still there, how long has Elijah been working for you?
About a month.
1 month. Okay. Thank you so much. And then maybe if I could speak to Elijah, please, if he's still available. Elijah, are you still on the call? Okay. Elijah, so I looked at the application and I would have to lean just as the Chairman Coe was reading it. It is very clear. I can understand some past mistakes that we made are hard to face and hard to admit at times, just in fear of judgment and how they can hinder us moving forward. But these are very important. They are important things to face so you can move forward. And that, you know, something along like this, when you are serving alcohol or even working in an alcohol establishment, as your employer can tell you, it is very serious and they can lose their livelihood. And he's taken a really big risk having you come aboard, and that could be commended. And I'm hoping that you honor that and that you look at this process as understanding that honesty is what's going to help you move forward. And we have to bring it up. We have to put some fire under you a little bit to realize how important, because we don't take these seats lightly here on this committee and also as we serve our public. So we want your success. We truly, truly do, but we need you to be honest with us so we can move forward and know that we're doing our job responsibly as we want you to do your job responsibly. So I needed to make those comments. Thank you, Chairman Coe.
So I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Go ahead.
Chair,
Yes.
could you give me just a moment? I'm trying to put up. Reference this gentleman.
Okay.
Alder Coe, this is Robin.
Yes.
I was just reading through the policy guidelines here when it comes to operators licenses when someone has tripped the trigger of a disqualification. And when that happens, such as here, whether it's dishonesty on the application or they have offenses that would disqualify them, the committee is looking for evidence of rehabilitation and fitness. And one way an applicant can show that is, I believe, as I forgot her name, but showing that they've successfully completed probation is one way, or they were successfully discharged or released. But then if something like that is not available, and this is pretty much what the committee has been doing all along tonight, looking to the evidence or evidence of the nature and seriousness of the offense, the circumstances of the offense, age of the individual, length of time that has elapsed, letters of reference, and other relevant evidence. And I would just note that the length of time that has elapsed, I was checking on CCAP, and there are 2 pending convictions at this time. And I believe Sergeant Webb is checking, but it shows on CCAP that there's an active warrant out in this situation.
It's Sam at work. George Union.
I
Robert
believe
Adams.
that's going on right now. I would just note that the for the committee to consider.
I appreciate this additional information to consider. And I do understand, I believe Sergeant, your line is not muted at this time. Maybe just to continue, if Elijah is still on, please know we're going through our process of due diligence. Don't let this hinder you moving forward. Keep moving forward with your head up, and whatever the outcome of this, please, whether it be positive or negative, keep that up and come back before us if we choose to vote against your application.
Also, Mr. Chairman, and I heard the city attorney, I do know in the past, I know when we're talking about rehabilitation, as the sergeant check on other information, I do appreciate him doing that. We have had employers come in and talk on behalf of participants or people that are looking to get their license and come in. They would come in and say, how much they appreciate, what they're doing, that they are in good standard, that they are a good worker. And like Mr. Nicholson came in today and said that he trusts them. This is his establishment. This is his business. And I like what Alder Melissa said tonight, just for Elijah, moving forward and making sure that you're being honest, with those that are looking out for you. And it seems like Mr. Nicholson is looking out for you. He really believes in you, and that is a good thing. So whatever way this might turn out tonight, don't be discouraged. Let's get it all taken care of so that you can move forward.
Sergeant Webb, do you have anything? Yes.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, we were able to confirm, Mr. Elijah, you have 2 warrants active for you, and one of them, they're both out of the Racine County Sheriff's Department. The one is for resisting, and the one is for operating vehicle while revoked. So those are your 2 outstanding obligations.
Okay.
So I guess what I would suggest, because you're going to have to, and don't take this badly, but I think what I would ask you to do is take your license application back at this time and come back at another time when you get these things taken care of. Otherwise, if we deny this application, you won't be able to apply for a year.
Okay.
So, I mean, my suggestion would be that you take the license application back and come back to us when you get this figured out.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out. Can anyone offer me information the best way to go about that?
Maybe Sergeant Webb.
Sure. Right now, because you have 2 warrants outstanding for you, turn yourself in or try to call down to the courthouse to see if you can set up a date. But right now, if you come into contact with any law enforcement and they run your name, it's going to show up as a warrant. They're probably going to take you into custody.
Okay.
So it's just like you didn't go to a court date.
So,
and that's what typically happens when you don't court dates.
Elijah, do you need a number to call the courthouse, or do you have access to that? Is it something we can provide you with this evening?
I would prefer if I can just get a number from you guys. That would be all right.
Okay.
Who's got a number?
All right. And I mean, and I would like you to be able to come back. But like I said, at this time, I would ask since the circumstances the way they are, that you withdraw your application at this time. So when you do come back, we can look at it differently.
And may I just ask, just so we don't leave him, we can give him a little bit of guidance. If Sergeant, if you have a number, if not, I can give you the clerk of court's number. If the sergeant feels a better number is needed here. Otherwise, Elijah, are you in a position to write down the numbers we provide you with?
Yeah, I have them.
Okay, I'll first provide you the clerk of courts, and then we'll allow the sergeant if he has a better number too. So here's 262.
Okay.
636-3517.
Okay.
All right, stand by just a moment.
And sorry about all this, Elijah and Doug. I just want to make sure you get started on the right foot here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, I got a number for you.
All right, I'm ready.
It's
all right, I'm ready.
262-636-3774. That's to the sheriff's department. That's who actually entered the warrant. And I would just call them and just set up something. But at some point, they're going to want to see you. So call them and let them know that you just found out you had these warrants. Hey, you're looking to address them the best way you can, and they'll provide you with a good path.
Okay.
So Elijah, then do you agree to withdraw your application at this time?
Yes.
All right, then. So there's nothing to do on this. I guess we would move to receive and file this item. Am I correct?
So moved, received and filed.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
I don't know if we had a second, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we trying to move this along here?
Second.
All right, we have a motion, a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, none. Good. All right, moving on.
See you soon, Elijah.
All right, thank you.
Item 038121, communication submitting renewal request for intoxicating liquor and fermented malt beverages for the 21 and 22 year. Everything is good to go on these, Amber?
Yeah, so this is the first run of applicants that we have taken in. There will be some more next week. All of these have turned in applications, have at least paid the $40 publication fee. And I know some of them still have some things we're waiting on, but this was the first step to get them going.
Okay. So what do we do with this one? Just receive and file this?
I believe you have to approve it, so it can go to council.
Okay.
I move to approve, please.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, next item of business, communication requesting that the Public Safety and Licensing Committee determine the day of the week and the hour at which it will meet for the next year. Apparently, Wednesdays isn't a good day for Mr. Horton because he's just got put on Park and Rec Board. Am I correct?
That is correct. I think Amber I think she was checking on it, and she did get back with me Friday. They were saying that committee, I'm not surely correct on everything she said. They only meet like once every, I don't know if it's a quarter or something like that. I'm not sure, but I did call the clerk's office and tell them that it would be a conflict with this meeting here. But if the Park and Rec will work out, Wednesday it's okay. I don't want to knock everybody else off their schedule here.
Okay, and we can't do Tuesdays because Melissa's on the county board. So I'm going to ask, would everybody be available if we did this on a Monday at 5 o'clock? Yes or no? Otherwise, we'll keep it here and try to figure it out.
As long as it's not the second Monday? Yes.
It is the second Monday.
Okay, wait, actually, I reneged. My meeting on the second Monday starts at 4 o'clock, so
So you'll be done by
I'll be-
5?
let's hope so, yes. So it's okay.
I'm
So
just
Monday
trying-
would be fine.
I mean, would 5:30 be better?
No, I won't do that to everyone else. We'll see how the others,
Okay, so
And
Jeff,
availabilities.
what are you okay with? Are you okay with Mondays?
Mondays at 5 would be fine, thank you.
All right, Henry?
Yes, that would be fine with Mondays.
Okay. So hopefully this will be the last time we got to change this thing. So, and I was worried about, because public, or because finance meets, but Zoom is differently, so we still will be able to broadcast both of these things, so. So, all right, so we're gonna do this on Monday now, so we'll move on. Do we have to vote on this?
I believe you have to vote to approve it so that it can go to council and be approved.
All right, well, let's, so let's make a motion to approve this item.
I move to approve.
All right, we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Thank you for your flexibility.
All right, so the next 4 items, it'll be 20121, 27821, 30721, and 38021. It's a communication on behalf of the city, Racine Police Department liaison of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee requesting the consideration of the license premise reports for 3/23/21, 4/13/21, 4/27/21, and 5/11/21. So go ahead, Sergeant Webb.
Okay, sorry to do this again, but buckle up. We gotta go into some details. So we're gonna start with 3/23, and I'm gonna come back to a big point later, but for March 7th, officers responded to Rogers for a fight. When the officers got there was no fight. They made contact with the bar, and when they were checking the video, they found around 3 a.m. there were still patrons inside the bar drinking what appeared to be alcohol. Based on the information, the video and all, the bar owner was cited for closing hours violation. The owner stated the incident started at 2:45, which is still after closing hours. He couldn't provide a reason why he didn't contact the police when the incident first occurred. After the officers left there, they did a neighborhood just like a canvas and ended up finding the firearm in the yard of 1831 North Wisconsin. But reference that firearm, there's no way to say if it's related to the bar or not.
Eight.
That was for the 23rd. We're going to come back to these a little later, but for April 13th, if we can go to March 30th, and that was just an assault that occurred at Rudy's. Referenced this, the guy was assaulted by a known party. Security cameras were working inside the bar at the time of the incident. The case is being worked by us, reference recovering that video, and the suspect is known and a warrant recommendation has been submitted for him. If we go to March 31st, officers did a tavern check at Blue Rock Lounge at about 2:54 a.m. Officers observed 10 patrons inside the bar. Upon us making contact with the bar, there was 2 employees still working and serving drinks. Officer stated he spoke with the owner and advised him of the hours violation. The owner stated he knew the violation was occurring. He just lost track of time, and he was subsequently issued a citation for closing hours violation. If we go to April 27th, you had just an incident at Doobie's with an unwanted party that left, came back. When the off-duty officer out there tried to get him to leave, he refused to leave. He had to call for more officers, and when they tried to identify him, it turned into kind of a thing where he was clenching his fist, and ultimately they had to deploy the taser. That party was taken into custody and transported to the county jail.
So on that one, Sergeant Webb, did the bar call the police on that or no?
The off-duty officer working there did.
Okay.
So Doobies has an off-duty officer.
Okay.
And I have nothing for the 11th, for May 11th. Now, the last time we met, there was a request to do a follow-up at GRC's, reference them not having their bar license out, or signage, certain signage not being displayed. Well, on March 13th, that request was fulfilled, where officers stepped out there, referenced the prior incident, and they found that the bartender working did not have a valid bartender's license. And at that time, that person was issued, the bartender was issued a citation. Officers stood by until a new bartender with a valid license came to the bar. We move forward, and we have a host of incidents that occurs at GRCs. If we go to the April 13th date meeting, there was a fight at GRC's on March 26th. The caller stated there was a brawl going on inside the bar, but wouldn't provide further details. Upon arriving, officers located a large group outside the bar in the rear parking lot. The group was large enough to block the streets, and people were standing in yards as well. The officers advised while in the area, they heard a male make mention of someone possibly possessing a firearm. Officers didn't locate that gentleman. They did make contact with the bar. The bar owner was present, but stated he wasn't working when the event first started. The owner advised the bartender that was working left prior to his arriving. The owner was unable to get a hold of the bartender or provide a copy of her bartending license. Additionally, another female arrived and stated she was the owner's daughter and was working prior to the owner arriving. Ultimately, the officers found out that that young lady wasn't being truthful, as she wasn't there prior to them arriving at all. If we go down to March 28th, shots fired. Officers responded to the area of the bar, referenced shots being fired. The caller stated he heard approximately 16 shots coming from the bar area. Upon arriving, officers observed a large group exiting the bar. The officers noted the crowd was loud, fighting, and blocking traffic. Officers advised while clearing the area, security from the bar pointed to an individual they believed was carrying a firearm. Officers made contact with that individual and observed a firearm, that being a handgun, on the floorboard of his vehicle. Officers took that party into custody and recovered the mentioned firearm. The male was found to be prohibited, meaning a felon, from owning a firearm, and was taken into custody. The lieutenant on third shift noted that, reference this incident, it took every squad in the city to handle it, and that was at 2:03 a.m. If we go to the March 29th, officers responded to the bar to do a tavern check, so a follow-up. Upon arriving, they found that no bartender was working and the only employee was a DJ. The DJ advised they were having a private dance party, and the bartender left to officers arriving. Officers noted there was a female behind the bar, but she wasn't serving drinks. The officer added there was a side room where he observed people observing what appeared to be a dance competition. The officer advised the DJ could not provide the capacity limit as the sign was not posted. The sign for the bar was open and the door to entry was unlocked. So then we go to the 31st. Officers initiated a tavern check. Officers advised they stopped at the bar after observing a large group of vehicles in the area. The officers advised they made contact with the bartender. The bartender noted that she did have the valid license. Officers added it appears to be 90 patrons in the bar, which is within the capacity limits due to the COVID restrictions. The bar was advised they can't have the doors propped open as they were propped open. And a capacity sign needed to be displayed as it still wasn't. We go to the 27th, April 27th. And on April 9th, officers responded to the bar reference a fight. The caller stated there was a group of 30 people about to fight. The caller added they could hear a female yelling. Upon arriving, officers advised they did not observe any active fights. The officers added they observed 30 to 40 patrons leaving the bar. The officers say that some of the patrons were yelling back and forth prior to leaving the area. All right, later on, they did a tavern check. They advised they made contact with the bartender, and again, it appeared that they had 90 occupants, which was within their COVID limit, their restriction limit. Then we go to the May 11th report, and on the 24th, officers responded to the bar referencing an assault. They made contact with the victim on St. Patrick and Main. The caller stated she was assaulted by a known party inside the bar. The caller was uncooperative and provided very little details, but for what officers could gather, this assault was the result of a video being posted on social media. And then we go to the May 2nd incident. And that was a fight. Officers responded to the bar reference a fight. The caller stated there was a large group of people unknown if they were fighting. Upon arriving, officers advised there were no active fight, but about 200 people in the area around the bar. The officers noted the parking lot for American Legion was full, even though the bar was closed for business. The group in front of the bar refused to clear the area at the request of officers. The officers noted individuals were standing on cars and dancing. The officers noted the group was loud, with loud music and blocking all lanes of traffic. Due to the size of the crowd, all the police squads in the city were requested to clear the area. Officers advised it took an hour and a half to clear the area completely. Officers had to use an audible device to clear the area. Officers added while they cleared the area, no squads were available to take calls for service in the whole city. Officers reported staff from the bar, and the bar security did not assist them in clearing the patrons. Now, reference that. I received the email from the shift commander on third shift, that's Lieutenant Hans Perdell, and he wanted to know what was going on reference GRC. Very few people knew the meetings with my sickness and some other stuff hadn't went on, so I brought it up to him. And I also told him that I would express his concern due to the nature of calls for service to the bar, but also the resource drain that it requires on some days. In reading the reports, it almost is like it's hit or miss whether they have a valid bartender in the bar or anybody claiming to be a valid bartender. So I can tell you from the police department's perspective, we're already taking steps to have the property listed as a nuisance property.
Sergeant Webb, I got a question to ask you. I got a call in the morning about 1:30 Sunday morning because of that place. I mean, you don't have anything on the record, but how was last weekend there? I don't know if you have any reports on it, because I heard it was hell.
Well, I could, give me just a second, because these are submitted the Tuesday before the meeting, so it wouldn't have last week on it, but I can definitely pull up the cost of service there
Yeah,
if you like.
I just want to see what's with that.
Give me just a second.
Okay.
Do you mind while he's looking that up? I asked some questions just
Oh,
because
no,
it's been.
go right ahead.
Okay, great. I'm
Sorry.
just actually for procedural sake, it's been a while since I've served on public safety. I think maybe last in 2015. So I don't know the history of this with this committee in the past. In the past, we'd call them before us. Has the GRC been called before us already?
No, I mean, there's 3 bars I want to call in tonight, and that's GRC, Blue Rock, and Rogers, both of them because of after hours. They need to, Rogers has been back and forth with our committee for different things. And from what I understand, GRC has been starting to really ramp up, and it's really bad. And from what I understand, coming up Memorial Day weekend, they got a rapper, some famous rapper coming there. So that's probably going to tax the whole police department.
Well, first of all, good for them for being able to do that. Let's just hope that they can keep some safety. It sounds like with their record, though. So my concern in going back,
No, I want them
sake. Okay, so just procedural sake, is there like first, second, third steps? So first we call them in. Before we used to do this kind of this agreement. And then if that didn't go well, then they would be called in for due process. Has anything changed since I was?
It's a little bit different than what happens now. I mean, the city, so we have a due process board now. So we don't even handle that.
Okay.
And what happens, Robin, can you explain that steps to her, or Amber?
Thank you for taking the time to do this. And I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but
No, it should be. So I just want
yeah, sorry, I'm filling in for New, and I did this once for 12 weeks in 2019. So it's been a while here, but there's calling in a licensee for a formal expression of concern. It's based on the license premise report. If the committee determines that the complaint is sufficiently serious to call the person in, they receive a letter from the clerk's office that does call them in. And then the committee discusses with the licensee their concerns. And then I believe, Alderco, I believe this was changed when I was here last. You have, the way it's set up and noticed on the agenda, you have the ability to rescind that formal expression the day that they're called in. As opposed to them coming back again. Or if you believe that, the issues there are serious enough, you can vote then and there to actually have that formal expression count as one mark against them, correct?
Right. And then if there's a second one, formal complaint within, I forget what the time frame is.
A 6-month period.
Okay, 6-month period, it automatically triggers a due process.
That's correct. Or it's three in 1 year. So 2 in 6 months or 3 in 1 year. But the first one is that stern warning. And we can do everything in one meeting date. You can rescind that formal expression, or you can have it count as one of their strikes.
Right. Okay, and the other 2 bars I wanted to call in just because they need to be reminded that you can't be serving after hours. And I know they probably both of them probably got, I think they're $500 or $600 tickets, if I'm not mistaken, Sergeant Webb.
Chairman Cole.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Can I just ask for precedent's sake? Is this something is this for precedence? I mean, do we call every single one in that serves after hours?
We usually do, because we don't want, Rogers has been called in once before, quite a while ago, for that same thing.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're consistent. So not just randomly calling these 2 in, but if that's something you do.
We normally, lately, we've been calling people in that are open after hours. We just want to remind them that they can't do that, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know if that would be, they all would be formal concerns, but then we can rescind them when it got to our committee. So.
Chairman Cole.
Yes.
I know when you said about GRC, just from my recollection, I think we have had them in here once before. I don't know if it was a 6-month time. I do remember one of the owners, something happened there, and she was pregnant at the time. She wasn't there at the bar, and we brought her in. So that would probably be something that the clerk could look up, whether it was a 6-month period or not. But we have had her in here once before.
Yeah, I thought that was quite a while. Ago.
It could be beyond the 6 months. So that's why I was just asking, maybe Amber, could check into that. But
'Cause they haven't been on the radar till lately. I mean, so I got concerns about the 28th for that big rapper party. So they got it all over Facebook.
You say that the rapper party as if it's
they're
something
having
bad. I just want to tell you. I like
No.
rap.
They're having a rapper there, and they're
Yeah.
gonna be packed like crazy.
Well, I mean, they're promoting. It's just a concern, maybe.
No.
just for
I
their
don't mean anything bad by that, but I know they're going to need that because there's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to get in, and they're going to be by the doors, and it's going to cause an issue.
So what I hear, it's your music of choice.
If anybody had any music like this,
I am teasing you.
No, anybody had any kind of loud music that would with this type of stuff and behavior with their customers. So
And Alder Carr, I would say that in Alder Melissa, I would echo what you're saying as far as just, talent coming to the city and all that. My main concern is that a night when all the officers are within the city are taken up and no matter what would have happened on that night, that there would be no one to respond to anything. That's a concern for me. That's a concern that, streets being blocked off. And then the concern of taking all the resources within the city for one particular place. So that would also be my concern.
Yeah. And that's why I asked about Saturday night, because I got a phone call at, 2:00 Sunday morning.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Reference the event I think you're speaking about. There was actually a fight out at the bar as patrons was leaving. One female was arrested. The sergeant completed the report as he observed the event, and he noted clearing the crowd out took approximately 30 to 45 minutes and required the assistance of nine officers or 9 squads. Alderperson Horton referenced your statement about all the resources in the city being taken up. The lieutenant kind of drafted a list of calls for service that had to wait that night, and one of them was a 4-year-old that was found in the middle of the street, and that had it basically waited till squads could free themselves from that event at the bar. So that's what the concern is, reference to resource drain, to where we had a found 4-year-old that had to wait.
I'd like to make a motion to call in GRC.
Second.
All right. And I'll we'll take a vote on that, and it's a formal expression of concern. Am I correct?
Correct.
All right. So we have a vote on that to call him in. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I would also like to call in Rogers and Blue Rock, just to remind them, that, Blue Rock hasn't been in a while, but they still, I'd like to call them in just to talk to them about it. That's, so I make a motion to call Rogers and Blue Rock in. It's up to you guys.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any comment from anybody?
My comment will just remain consistent as long, if that's what
it is.
we've done in the past, that, if we do this now, it should be forever.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And Sergeant Webb, it's not on the agenda because you don't have anything from there, but 2 weeks ago, 509 6th Street, all the police were out there because of a whole bunch of people coming out of 509 6th Street blocking traffic. Do you have anything on that at all?
How long ago was that?
The weekend before last.
Let me check and double check.
I happened to be at the Taste of Soul, and it was kind of hell out there, and I don't know why that wouldn't be on there.
Well, it was, again, I'm not out there, so it depends on what the officers labeled it. If the officers don't attribute it to the bar, I can't attribute it to the bar. So if they put it in a, If they put it in the area of and not the bar itself, it's not going to show up for me.
No, it
But
was the
I'll
bar.
double check.
No, it was the bar because I was at the Taste of Soul, and they after I don't know if someone said someone had a gun, but they locked the doors and got everybody out of there. And there was 75 to 100 people booking.
All right, let me double check that, and I'll get back to you. I'll rerun the
Okay.
report.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah, I'll
So-
check because I know what you're talking about. So what ends up happening with that, I don't know why it didn't show up. I'll rerun the report and I'll get it to you.
Yeah,
But the
'cause
off-duty officer out there,
Yeah, he got actually he got there. He was supposed to start at 11:30. He
Yeah.
started at
And right when he
11:03.
pulled up.
And
Yeah,
he's
so,
the one that called. He called in for service because I was calling 911, and I kept getting a bunch of answers that didn't make any sense from the person I was on the phone with. After 5 minutes, the cops were there because Terry called them in.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm going to give you a rundown. I don't know why it didn't show up on the report, but I definitely can get it to you. So, Sergeant Jones is the off-duty officer at 509. He pulled up to start his shift, and just as he pulled up, he was being waved inside for an active fight going on inside. As he went inside the bar, there was an active fight going on, and I think there was a mention of a firearm. But the problem he had is as he entered, people started running out on the 7th Street side of the building, and people started running out on the 6th Street side of the building.
Way
So
over
because all that
capacity.
was going, and that's when he requested the additional officers to come in and block off the area. And I think that night, and I can pull it up for sure, give me just a moment, that bar ended up closing at 11:30.
They closed at
after
that
incident.
time. Right.
Yes, sir. So that's what
Okay.
ended up happening there. I don't know why that didn't show up because I definitely remember writing it up because I talked to the sergeant.
I mean, I know we can't call them in now because they're not on the agenda, but I mean, I just want to be apprised if anything happened this last weekend also. So,
Give me just a second, I can pull it up.
Alder Cole?
yep.
I do believe during the premise report, any situations you have with liquor licenses, I believe you can bring it up and make a motion to bring them in. Robin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they can do that during the premise report.
Sorry, Amber, what was that about?
So I think during the premise report, even though the incident that's not on the report that they're talking about, I think any licensed premise that the committee thinks that there might be an issue with, I think they can call them in without them having to have an actual report on from the PD.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's
I
all right.
have
Well,
to-
so if
Have
we
you
look
have
at
you
the-
done that?
Well,
previously?
go ahead, Sergeant Webb. Go ahead.
If you look at the bottom of every report I do, new had it added. In addition to the above reported incident, there may be discussion regarding other incidents occurring in or around other licensed premises within the city of Racine or updates from previous reports as reported by the police department. And I think she did that because of the same concern.
Right, because the reason I asked that is I'd like to, because it's been ramping up at 509, and I'd like to call them in and tell them they got to control these things a little bit better. So if that's the case, I would like to call in 509 6th Street, so I make a motion. Is there a
Alder
sec-
Cole, I would
Yep.
just note that the way that the item is written, it says any formal expressions of concern pursuant to it being the public safety and licensing, the licensed premise report. So,
All right.
Amber, is that an extra sentence that's usually added in, or?
I can wait. That's okay. I'll withdraw my motion, and we'll just put it on our next agenda.
Or Sergeant Webb, where have you seen that language?
It's at the bottom of every one of my reports.
Oh, at the bottom of the report. Okay, so it's not showing in the actual agenda item language, maybe that's something that we can add in to that. So instead of saying formal expressions of concern pursuant to the premise report, we should change that to add in information that's gathered even outside of the premise report.
That would be fine. I would like you to draft something and bring it back to our next meeting.
Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, our agenda items have been exhausted. Sergeant Webb, we'll get back at you this next meeting on that, if that's okay with you.
I got a question, Mr. Cole.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry about this. Sorry to drag this on. It's been a
That's
long
okay.
night. There was an incident at the Rhino Bar where there was report of drug dealing going on in the bathroom. And the night shift commander stated due to COVID, the police department would not respond. Do you recall that?
No, but I've been.
I read it.
Oh, go ahead.
I read it. If the commander said it, go ahead, sir.
To me, I mean, drug dealing in a bathroom in a bar, and when a bartender or bar owner calls, I guess, is this subjective? Do you guys have a standard as to what is COVID related, what is not COVID related? Because to me, if a bartender or a bar owner calls and says somebody's dealing drugs in my bathroom, to me, that seems like it's a kind of a no-brainer.
That will be on and at the discretion of the shift commander. Only he or she can make a call. When the word COVID restriction comes up, that just means how we mitigate exposure for certain costs of service. The thing is, I'm not a shift commander for third shift, so I don't get to dictate what calls they respond to, and only a shift commander can make that decision.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, then. So all items being exhausted, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Alder Cole, I need a motion to receive and file, please.
Okay, okay. Well, a motion to receive and file the items we didn't call in, yes. So I need a motion to receive and file those.
Alderman Cole, you did have a motion on the floor. I'm not sure if it got seconded to call those other establishments in. Just so you know, we never did that.
All right. So we had a first and a second. All those in favor say aye of calling in Blue Rock, and Roger say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, and then
Motion to receive and file the premise reports.
Second.
all right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, now we need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, thank you, guys.
Right. Good night.